Hello, good morning, good Monday morning. Today we are talking together about creativity. I think we're developing quite a habit to make Mondays our play with paint day. Today is super exciting because I want to show you one of the most fun ways to paint, and I've only recently discovered this myself, so I'm going to share it with you guys. And also, I want to just talk to you a little bit about creativity and walk you through this painting, as well as tell you about my incredibly exciting course that's coming up. So I've got lots to talk to you about. Let's get straight into painting, and I'll talk to you as we go along. So you might notice that my page has a blue border, and that's actually window masking tape. And I don't usually mask my paintings. I get a lot of questions about it. I don't mask the paintings because I don't tend to wet the whole page. But the clue for you today is that we are going to wet the whole page. If you don't have masking tape, any tape will do. What I do, the top tip for not having to pull up your paper when you take the tape off, is I usually put the tape across a pair of clothes, like my trouser leg, and it gets a little bit fluffy, and then I put it on the paper, so it takes some of the tackiness away. So we are going to be creating the start of a galaxy. I've only recently discovered how awesome and how much fun this is, so I've been practicing it a little bit because I wanted to paint with you the galaxy, and it's a lot of fun. You're going to see the paint moving. It's going to be magic. And if you're a little bit heavy-handed with paint, this is exactly the lesson for you, because the heavier your paint, the kinder the better. So first of all, we're going to just do the background today. Tomorrow we're going to add in our details. So this is a two-part process. I'm going to go in with a dark galaxy sky. So I'm using dark blues mixed with black, and you can't get this bit wrong. So I'm going to go in, that my page is dry, but I'm going to go in with some blue as though that was my clean water. And then I want to go in and get some black and add it in. The trick with the galaxy is not to have your paper too wet. If you have your paper too wet, the paint buckles and it tends to go too light. The pigment isn't dark enough on the page. So I'm not advocating a whole wet on wet kind of start. I think just go in with a colour and use your colour as your clean water, and then go in with your black and your because you do want the sky to be dark, but at the same time, because you're creating a galaxy, you want to make sure there's some variation. So going in with a little bit of purple, and I'm just working this across the top of my page. These bits down here are getting a little bit dry, so what you want to do is just go in with some clean water and just I keep forgetting that word, keep them wet, whatever that word is. And then you can even go in with some lighter colours as you're wet. So I've got like a light turquoise here, and then you can meet it up, and you see how it's like, it grows like a galaxy, it grows across. So we're going to fill the top of the page with some dark colours, and just let that kind of grow in, really. You don't want to be doing dry paint, so you do want that layer to be a wet on wet layer. You don't want it to be dry. This, you're gonna love this. This is so much fun. I'm not forgetting to chat to you because it is actually a lot of fun. You can even go in with a completely random color and link it and see how it goes. Because it's your galaxy, you create whatever kind of galaxy you want to create. All right, so you remember back when we did our leaves, when we first kind of started on this creative journey together, and we did the autumn leaves, and that was just a wet on wet technique, and that's so similar to this. We're not really going in with anything different. The difference that we have is hopefully our skills have built a little bit in 3 weeks, and also the difference that we have is that we've just changed the subject matter. We've gone in for a galaxy now instead of several little leaves around the page. And that's something I really try to concentrate on as an artist, is what techniques have I already done and how can I adapt them to do the next thing. So if I look at something like a set of leaves and I'm like, oh, I really want to do some autumn leaves. Well, what have I done in the past that makes me kind of feel like I'd have a starting spot? Well, I could start with the wet on wet technique, and then it kind of just grows from there, and you start practicing making these artistic decisions, and that's what's really exciting. And hopefully you've kind of started making those decisions as well. I've seen so many, I've just been so inspired this weekend because there's been so many little bricks and circles in the group, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you need to catch up on Friday's live tutorial, and they've just been so inspiring and so different to mine. Who would have thought that we could all be doing a similar thing and yet they would be quite different? And that's what got me thinking on the weekend, and I've got an offer that I definitely want to share with you. I'm definitely going to share it, but I'm still formulating it and putting all the details in together. But because we're in this private group together, I can tell you guys without kind of telling the whole world, because this isn't a business account. But I'm designing a course that is all about kickstarting your creativity. And that's what I was thinking about on the weekend. I was like, how am I going to do this? How do I put together a set of kind of watercolor prompts or painting prompts for you guys so that it's inspiring and easy, but also not easy as in, oh, you know, that's so easy, but easy as in anybody could give it a go. It's not something that's going to add stress to your life, because I'm very aware that, you know, when you start something new, you're like, oh, they said this is going to be easy, but actually I found it really tricky because that's happened to me so many times. So yeah, I'm just putting this little course together. Super excited. If you think it's exciting as well, please do give me a little love heart. I'm still designing the ideas, but basically what I want it to be is a way for you to get organized, keep you inspired, especially if I can't kind of turn up every day. It'll be like a set of painting ideas that will keep you inspired, but also build your skills and build on the creativity, because creativity is a muscle. And I was thinking the other day, if you were going to, you know, you're online kind of looking at gym memberships or different things like that, you would want over time your muscles to develop and become kind of better and stronger and whatnot. And I was thinking, that's just what we're creating here. It's like a little gym membership, but because I am in my tracksuit, and so yeah, I wanted to share that with you. There's going to be more details coming, but I'm super excited. So if you're super excited, let me know. It's going to be awesome and so much fun. There's so many things that I'm including in this course. Can you notice here that I've gone a lot lighter down the bottom of the page? And that's on purpose. I've decided to do that on purpose because in this kind of sky galaxy picture, I want to make sure that there's a lighter area down the bottom, because I'm going to go in with the silhouette of maybe some trees or something down here. It's just these little white spaces. And if you go over these little white spaces with water on your brush, that's fine. It'll all end up melding fine. I quite like that little whoosh from the sky. So just having a look, can you see here how this has kind of dried already, and already looks like a galaxy is starting to bloom. That's only going to look better. If you're a bit worried about like a big puddle like this here, just have a wet paintbrush that you've dried off a tiny bit, take up some of the moisture, which is going to take up some of the pigment. So dry that off, go in with a little bit of pigment and dab it back in, because what you don't want to, you want to take the water off the page, but you want to add pigment in, because remember, we want this to be quite dark. So I'm kind of looking here, and this bit here is lovely. I love that. But that's not dark enough. So I'm going to go in with a little bit of blue and a little bit of grey. And I don't want to lose that whole effect there. But see how I could just darken it up a little bit, and that's going to create another little texture. This bit over here, it's a bit all blue. So again, I'm going to go in from the black and maybe create a few lines that come out like this. You don't want to go in with too much water. You want to go in with a bit of pigment, because we're not really going to layer the galaxy layer. We're just going to paint it as one layer. So we want it to have a few kind of bits where it goes up and down. That's a cat hair, which is going to come out later when the painting's dry, I promise. Okay. I quite like that. I think, yeah, I think that's going to dry really nicely. The problem that you might have, if you're anything like me, is that you might overwork it. So while it's still wet, you can put a little bit of pigment heavy dots, especially if you're a bit worried that some areas are flat. Quite worried about this area here. The great thing about doing these galaxy pictures is that they are really easy to start and really easy to redo. So I got a little bit obsessed the other week, and I think I did 3 of them in a row. Just because that's it. That's the galaxy for today, because you have to let that dry. If you are on mains electricity and you can run a hairdryer, then now's a great time to use the hairdryer, because what the hairdryer does, because it's warm heat, is it stops the paint in its tracks. And so the blending doesn't happen as much. It doesn't gradient as much. If you let this dry naturally, the paint dries a bit more softer because it hasn't been halted so quickly. So it just depends what kind of look you want. I definitely would run a hairdryer if I had one, because I'm impatient. But this one is fine. It's just probably go in the sun a little bit today. And then tomorrow we're going to go in with we're going to go in with the sky. So we're going to go in with the stars. And then we will have we might actually have to take this up to Wednesday, because we'll have our final detail to add in. So your homework for today is to play with paint. So you have to play around. Do not get attached to the results. Use this as a painting prompt. Like I've been thinking more about these painting prompts because it's what I've been designing for the course that I want to share with you. And I can't tell you all the details yet, but one thing I thought was really exciting about the course is that I want to do some Christmas bonuses just for us in our group. So I'm going to tell you more about them later. So give me a big love heart if you think Christmas bonuses are a good idea. I think I'm so super excited. If you've got any extra ideas, then let me know as well. But I would love to see this homework, and you need this to be dry for tomorrow, because tomorrow is actually a lot of fun. Yes. Thank you so much for joining me today, and do leave me a comment if you're watching this in the replay, #replay, and if you're watching it live, then thank you so much for tuning in. This is such a great little project, so you can also share it with your friends. There's a little link to this Facebook group. I think it's up the top, and you can invite your friends and then I approve them in the admin section. But you know, the more people that can come and have a little bit of time with creativity, then the better. And also because I'm launching a course that's going to be the benefits are going to be for you guys, the group members, then you want to make sure your friends are in the group as well. And also paint together, because we can't get out and join a painting group in real life, so we have to kind of sit around and have a cup of tea together and do some painting, and I would love to do that with you. So thanks for joining today, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks.